Hello, everybody. It is time now for Truth, Justice, and the NBA for this Wednesday, May 13th of 2015. Coming up, we will talk about the Atlanta Hawks and how they even things up with the Washington Wizards at 2 apiece, as that series will head back to Atlanta, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday night, tonight. So we'll see how that series continues. But first, we got to talk about games 4 and 5 of Cleveland and Chicago, and no doubt LeBron James has been the man so far for at least these past couple of games. With his team down 2-1, and game 4, still hanging in the balance, even though we knew Pau Gasol would not play for Chicago. Think advantage Cleveland, right? Well, they did have an advantage at halftime after the Bulls got off to a terrific start in the game. We saw LeBron and company, start to show their offensive firepower. The first quarter actually ended up being a high-scoring quarter. I think it was 28-26 Bulls at the end of one. And you would have never thought that the game was going to end with a 86-84 score, but that's what happened. Basically, Cleveland was able to make a few more plays in that second quarter. They had a slim lead at halftime. Matter of fact, they led by 4 at the break. And then the Cavaliers went through a stretch where not much was going their way at all. Getting outscored in the third quarter 23-12. Just flat out for the game, neither team ended up shooting better than 39%. That's hard to believe, even though I know both can play defense. Derrick Rose, he really emerged in that second half at 31 for the game. And also, without Pau Gasol, you knew that other Bulls had to step up in this game, and several did. And then the Bulls, after trailing by 4, was able to lead by 7 entering quarter number 4. So with Kyrie Irving not playing his best game and needing a boost, it was J.R. Smith. That's right, J.R. Smith ended up with 13 points for the game, but 11 of those 13 came in the fourth quarter, and all 11 came during a pivotal stretch early in the fourth in which Chicago's lead disappeared. And it looked like Cleveland might be able to get out of Chicago with the game in hand in the series tied at 2. But, of course, in the NBA, hardly everything is ever at hand no matter what. Down by 5, LeBron James did something that I've never seen happen before in any NBA game, regular season or post, or maybe any game for that matter. He picked up 2 offensive fouls in the final minute, allowing Chicago to stick around. Jimmy Butler ended up doing a good part of his damage later on. And, of course, we'll talk about Game 5 in a little bit and bring up Butler as well, hitting a clutch 3. That brought the lead down to 2. And then off the inbounds, LeBron has the inbounds pass a little more than half court after receiving it, and then gets called for another offensive foul as Mike Dunleavy falls down after he and a teammate had double-teamed James just past the midline. James couldn't believe it, but at the same time, he couldn't get too upset because of a technical foul being a possibility. Well, Derrick Rose ties the game up at 84 apiece on the driving lay-in. And then on the other side, LeBron trying to get a call in the paint, but no call at all. Ball goes out, though, and Cleveland still has possession, getting to inbound with 2 seconds to go. And then the huddle, LeBron simply said, for a lack of 100% accuracy, just give me the ball, get out of my way. And in the corner, left corner, shot, money. LeBron James, any other player in that situation might have been frustrated to the point to where, they were just fed up and maybe couldn't deliver. LeBron James was able to shrug off those adverse calls. He was able also, to play with what looked like a tweaked ankle late in the third quarter on a drive in which he and Derrick Rose collided, and it looked like LeBron came down on his left foot extremely awkward, but stayed in the game. And not only did not show any ill effects, at least to us, down the stretch, and that win for Cleveland was tied up the game at 2, or the series at 2, but then 2 nights later, game number 5, Tuesday night, LeBron James played even better. Point-wise, 38. Rebounding-wise, double figures with 12. First half, he was electric. 10 of 12 from the field. And that I can't tell you just how important that was to see Cleveland, shoot the ball better, because neither team shot the ball well in game number 4. But game number 5, Cleveland met business, and at one point in the fourth quarter, they got their lead up to 17. Derrick Rose and company would start to mount a comeback. A big 3 by Dunleavy. Jimmy Butler, remember in the fourth quarter how he hit a big 3 that almost helped Chicago come back? Well, he hits a couple of threes down the stretch, and all of a sudden, we see Cleveland's lead gets shrunk to 2. And then Derrick Rose on a drive in the final seconds, about maybe 30 or 40 to go, ends up having his shot from inside, which was going to be a lay-in, it looked like, or just a short shot, denied by LeBron James from out of nowhere. Butler on the ensuing possession couldn't hit the three from the right side, had the look, but he was off, and that was really the best shot that the Bulls had right there in trying to get the lead. It was a game in which Cleveland led most of the way, and they were able to make some free throws to close it out, 105-101. So the Cavaliers, thanks to a great performance by James, getting support from Kyrie Irving, who played a better game than he did in Game 4 with 25 in this one. Tristan Thompson, double-double, 12 points, 10 boards, and Iman Shumpert, 13 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Cleveland, they outshot Chicago in the game. They also, too, were able to lead throughout most of it, but they still had to, withstand a pesky Bulls squad. Jimmy Butler had a terrific night with 29 points. Rose did have 16 points, but for the most part was ineffective, didn't hit a three, and also, too, was only 7 of 24 from the field. So for the Bulls, their season really hangs in the balance Thursday night when they will host Cleveland to try to force a Game 7. We'll see what happens with Taj Gibson, who received a flagrant 2 foul. Looked like his feet and Dellavedova's feet from Cleveland got tangled, and we see Dellavedova kick back as he's on the ground. Taj Gibson had an obvious kick right back to Dellavedova. That's what the ref saw, and Gibson got thrown out of the game at that juncture, and Dellavedova didn't have anything called on him. So we'll find out if the league further punishes Taj Gibson. I certainly hope not in this case. By the way, maybe the key stat for Game 5 for Chicago, my goodness. Second quarter, that's when things really kind of got out of hand for them, and they were playing catch-up the whole way. Only 4 of 22 from the field in that second quarter. Hard to win when you're doing that. So the other series in the East Conference is Atlanta-Washington. And last time we checked, Paul Pierce delivering in the clutch as the Wizards on the buzzer beater defeated Atlanta to go up 2-1. The Hawks, the best team in the Eastern Conference the whole season through, now knew that it was must-win time. And early on, Paul Pierce was going to do everything he could to make sure that wasn't going to happen. He was red hot in the zone, 14 points in the first half. He would end up with 22 for the game. But Atlanta in the second quarter got things going, an explosion. 36 second quarter points, and Jeff Teague had one of the biggest games we've seen him have. A 26-point effort for him, 9 of 20 shooting, but also 8 assists. He looked like he was ready for this game, and also give credit to Al Horford and to Paul Millsap, a combined 16 of 28 from the paint. We saw them with 36 paint points in the first half, Atlanta. They were very effective from the inside. 36 points from the paint in half number 1. The Hawks had a 10-point lead at halftime, kept that lead in around the fourth quarter. You knew Washington was going to battle, and then once again, no John Wall for Washington. But still, despite Wall not being there, they still had opportunity. Bradley Beal played 44 minutes, and he did all he could. 34 points for the former University of Florida player. And they kept battling, kept getting close, and then down by 3, maybe Atlanta got away with a couple of non-calls. One, where Paul Pierce trying to tie the game up about 10 seconds to go, 3 from the right arc, misses, and maybe DeMarre Carroll clipped him, who knows, but the referees either didn't see it or didn't think it was warranted enough for 3 free throws. And then when the Hawks got the ball back, Kyle Korver might have gotten away with the walk as well. So the Hawks definitely were walking the line, but they hit a couple of free throws to put the game out of reach, 106-101. The Hawks survived, but they have to learn to try to play a 48-minute game. And I know that earlier on, you remember the game number 3. Washington fell into that trap when they had that 20-point lead and nearly lost the game when the Hawks tied it and needed Pierce's heroics. The Hawks have to learn to finish, and for Washington, they're going to have to realize that Pierce, he's a veteran. He is picking up the slack for John Wall in terms of the scoring, but he can't bail your butt out all the time in the final seconds, okay? You're going to have your fair share. So the series is even at 2, and we'll find out. I still haven't heard any status on Wall. He could play in Game 5 this evening from Phillips Arena in Atlanta, and if he can, maybe that'll be the big spark for the Wizards, who lose just their first home playoff game during these playoffs. Now, that will do it for our edition. And by the way, if Washington does want to look at one stat from game 4, 16 turnovers. Ouch. Ouch and ouch. That will do it for my look today at the Truth, Justice in the NBA from the Eastern Conference. Next edition, we'll resume talking about the Golden State-Memphis series. That's tied at 2. And we'll update game number 5 and how Houston stayed alive, thanks in part to the Beard and Dwight Howard. So long for now.